Imagine a frozen land where fear is the only constant companion. A country where the eyes of one man control the lives of millions. North Korea. A place where speaking the wrong word can destroy not just you, but your entire family for 3 generations. Where hunger is used as a weapon and loyalty is enforced with the barrel of a gun. This is the brutal world ruled by Kim Jong Un. Tonight we bring you the shocking true stories of 2 high-ranking men who served this regime for years with absolute devotion. 2 men who held power, who caused suffering, who were trusted by the dictator himself. And then, in single moments that changed everything, they chose to betray Kim Jong Un and escape to freedom in the United States. These are the 2 traitors of Kim Jong Un. Before we dive deep into their incredible journeys, if you want more stories about escapes from tyranny, hidden truths about dictatorships, and the power of human courage, then right now hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, give this video a big thumbs up, and write in the comments the word freedom if these stories touch your soul. Your support helps us continue bringing these important stories to light. Now let us begin with the first story. In the remote border regions of North Korea, a man named Chun rose quickly through the ranks of the Workers' Party. At only 36 years old, he had become one of the most powerful officials in his province. He was responsible for agriculture and food distribution in a critical frontier area. This position gave him enormous power over the lives of thousands of people. He decided who would eat and who would starve. He collected the so-called patriotic grain quotas that farmers were forced to deliver to the state, even when their own children were dying of hunger. Chun ran his district with an iron fist. He maintained a vast network of informants who reported on every family. He personally led inspections where he would confiscate any hidden food. He ordered public punishments for those who failed to meet impossible production targets.
Farmers lived in terror of his visits. He reported directly to the highest levels in Pyongyang, and on multiple occasions his reports reached the desk of Kim Jong Un himself. The supreme leader had even sent him personal praise for his dedication and efficiency in maintaining control. Every day Chun saw suffering, but it did not touch him. He had convinced himself that this was necessary for the glory of the nation and the leader. He lived in a better house than most, had electricity for several hours each day, and possessed special high-level passes that allowed him almost unlimited movement near the border. He had a personal driver and enjoyed privileges that ordinary citizens could only dream about.
But one ordinary autumn afternoon, everything changed forever. He arrived at the small farm of a man named Min Ho to collect the quarterly tribute. The farmer was extremely thin, his face hollow from years of malnutrition. As Chun demanded the grain sacks, a tiny 5-year-old girl stumbled out of the broken shack. Her name was Ji-Yun. She was so weak from hunger that her legs collapsed right in front of him. She fell into the dirt without even the strength to cry. Her huge, empty eyes looked up at Chun and in that exact moment, something deep inside him broke. For the first time in many years, he truly saw the horror he was helping to create. That night, he could not sleep. The image of the starving child haunted him. He thought about his own children. He realized that the system he served was slowly killing its own people. The ideology he had believed in for so long suddenly felt empty and evil.
For many weeks he struggled with this new feeling inside his chest. Loyalty to Kim Jong Un fought against his awakening conscience. Finally, he made his choice. He would escape.
Because of his high position, escaping was surprisingly easier for him than for ordinary citizens. One morning, he told his driver he would travel alone. He took his official vehicle and drove along roads he knew perfectly. At every checkpoint, the guards saluted him and let him pass without questions. He knew exactly where the blind spots were near the Tumen River. He left the car hidden in the forest and crossed the shallow water into China under the cover of darkness. The journey through China was dangerous because North Korean agents hunt defectors everywhere. But Chun used his intelligence, some hidden money, and his knowledge to reach safety. Eventually, he made contact with the American embassy. When he entered, he confessed everything. He told them all the secrets he knew about the regime, about corruption in the party, about how food quotas were deliberately used to keep people weak and dependent, About the structure of control in the border provinces, his information was extremely valuable to Western intelligence services. Today, Chun lives peacefully in the United States under a new name. He opened his own small farm where he grows food freely without any quotas or fear of punishment. He wakes up every morning without terror in his heart. He often thinks about that little girl who changed his life and hopes she somehow survived. He knows he can never return to North Korea, but for the first time, he is truly free. This was the story of Chun, a man who served the regime at a high level but found his humanity in the eyes of a starving child. Now we move to the second story. General Hanbok was 43 years old and one of the most trusted border security commanders in North Korea. His responsibility was to stop anyone from escaping the country. He controlled one of the most heavily guarded sectors of the border with China. Under his command, there were watchtowers every few hundred meters, multiple layers of electrified fences with razor wire, minefields, and constant armed patrols with orders to shoot to kill. General Hanbok was famous for his cold-hearted efficiency. He had been personally awarded medals by Kim Jong Un several times for his outstanding service in protecting the revolution. He trained his soldiers to show no mercy. Families caught trying to cross the border were often executed in public as examples to others. He believed he was defending the sacred homeland from traitors and foreign influence. But one freezing winter night during a routine border inspection, his entire worldview was shattered. He was driving along the patrol road when his headlights caught movement in the snow. A man, a woman, and their small child had somehow crossed the first obstacles and were approaching the final barbed wire fence. They looked completely exhausted, wearing only thin rags, with nothing but desperation in their eyes. General Hanbok stopped his vehicle, took out his pistol, and walked towards them. The father saw him first. With a desperate cry, he told his wife and child to run, while he charged directly at the armed general, ready to fight with his bare hands to give his family a chance. In that single frozen moment, something moved inside General Hanbok's cold heart. After years of sending people to their deaths, he suddenly saw the truth. These were not enemies or traitors. They were desperate parents willing to risk everything so their child could have a better life. The propaganda he had believed for so long suddenly felt like a lie. He slowly lowered his weapon.
"Go," he said in a quiet voice. "Tonight I see nothing. Run."
The family stared at him in complete shock for a few seconds, then quickly crawled under the wire and disappeared into the darkness toward China. General Hanbok returned to his post and reported that everything in his sector was calm and secure. No incidents occurred that night, but inside his mind, a storm was raging. He could not sleep. For the first time, he understood why so many people were desperate to leave the country he had sworn to protect. He had spent years building the walls of this prison. Now he realized he was also a prisoner himself. The next morning, he made his final decision. He would escape too. Using his own deep knowledge of the border defenses he had helped create, General Hanbok successfully crossed into China. After a dangerous journey, he reached the American embassy and surrendered. He confessed all his crimes and gave valuable information about North Korea's border security systems, internal surveillance methods, and the true state of the regime's military readiness. In the United States, he faced justice for his past actions.
Somber. The court sentenced him to 5 years in prison. However, because of his full cooperation and genuine remorse after serving only 2 years, his sentence was changed to community service. He spent the next years helping other North Korean defectors adapt to their new lives and freedom. He worked ordinary jobs and lived quietly. Today, General Hanbok is a free man. He walks the streets without fear. He breathes the air of liberty, and every day he is grateful for the decision he made that cold winter night.
This was the story of General Hanbok, a man who once guarded the prison walls but eventually chose to break free himself. Both Chun and General Hanbok show us that even people deeply inside one of the most brutal regimes in the world can still find their conscience. They prove that the human desire for freedom is stronger than any dictatorship. Their courage in choosing truth over loyalty to a tyrant should inspire all of us. In a world where authoritarian regimes still exist and millions of people live without basic rights, these stories remind us that change is possible and that freedom is worth fighting for. If these stories moved you, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with your friends. Write in the comments which of the two stories affected you more and why. Your comments and support help us create more content like this and spread the truth about freedom.
Grateful. Thank you for watching until the end. Stay strong, stay free, and we will see you in the next video. Goodbye and God bless.